Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Just Enough to Suffer. This is episode 3. We are back after a 1-week unexpected hiatus. That's a hand up on my end. I messed it up. I had to do. Yeah, I mean, listen, you lead the locker room, lead from the front. Accountability and action. That's what I do.
That's right.
I messed up. I wasn't available. We are back, though. We really didn't. Honestly, it probably would have been the exact same energy going into this game, going into last game as actually that's not true. But this game last week was a disaster scene. I don't want to spend too much time on it because now it's Friday. We're getting ready for the Browns. Greg, give me your number one takeaway from the game last week. Actually, first talk to me about how you've been feeling, what's going on, how have you taken the loss? Just let me into your brain a little bit.
I mean, it was cool. I mean, you and I got to hang out Saturday night, which was fun. Watched a lot of college football. So that was always, it's always good to see when I come up there.
Yes, sir.
Going to the game. I mean, it's always fun to go to the game, kind of knowing what's going to happen, right? Like me and my dad usually go to home openers. So, I mean, it's just fun, like the atmosphere, the not deadness of people yet of the season. Everyone's optimistic about stuff. So that's cool. And I mean, like the game in and of itself, it was just frustrating. I think that's the best way to sum it up. I know I had texted you, or I texted our group during the game that like the Jets defense, it had that feel like we've seen games like this from a Jets defense before where they kind of just play over their heads. But you got the feel watching this defense that this was something that's sustainable in the way that they were playing.
Much more
during the first half. Right. And then the second half, it's just a typical like story of the past however many years, right? Where like the offense does nothing to help them out. And it's only a matter of time before one big play and the Jets are just cooked. I mean, I think, off the field, you kind of got me into this when I'm there to kind of watch the sidelines. Joe Flacco ain't it, man. I mean, I saw Elijah Moore about as frustrated, I think, as I've ever seen him ever. You kind of saw the offensive line just sitting there. I mean, CJ Uzomah at one point tried to get everybody pumped up. And
I respect that, CJ. That's a good sign. I like that from CJ.
Yeah. And it was kind of just like, all right, man. And that starts with the quarterback. He throws a pick. He walks off the field like it was nothing. His body language is very, very bad. And whether it happens or not, it looks like it kind of rubs off on the other guys. And this is a super young, impressionable team, I think. And when you see the quarterback, a guy who's won a Super Bowl, who's been around for a long time, been in a lot of big games, playing against his old team, and he's got this body language of a guy who doesn't want to be there, like, it's hard for me to not believe that it rubs off on the other guys. I mean, I get these are professionals, but like that kind of shit you just kind of notice. And not once did I see him walk up to the receivers, walk up to the offensive line and say anything to them. It was just kind of everybody on their own, talking amongst themselves. I mean, like,
I don't love
Jordan.
that.
No, I mean, like Jordan Whitehead, the first play he got beat for a touchdown. I don't even think he got beat. I think it was just a blown coverage, if I recall. He immediately ran off, and everybody huddled around and saw what they were doing wrong on the defense. They looked at the iPad or whatever. They saw what they were doing wrong on the defense. Not one time did I see it like them huddle up on the sidelines after a bad drive and talk about stuff. Like it was just receivers hanging out by themselves. Joe just walking back to the bench, sitting down, putting his helmet back on, coming back out.
Yeah. So
it was just a super frustrating thing from that aspect. I think the most infuriating part is that this is probably the most talented Jets offense since like 2015, right? With the Decker and Marshall years. I think it has the ability, I think just talent wise, to be better than that. Number wise, probably not. And for them to only score a garbage time touchdown, no matter who they're playing against, is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, listen, on the sideline stuff, that's one of my favorite things to do. I love watching stuff like that. I think it's kind of some of the most indicative stuff you'll see is the sideline reaction immediate as they're walking off the field, which is why I love doing that. I unfortunately was not in the building. On the offense,
talks a lot of shit.
He never stops.
There was their first punt. It was by the Jet. the two Ravens punt return guys were on the side, were towards the side, and
Mhm.
he saw us on the side like talking shit to the two Ravens punt
I love
return
it.
guys.
I love
It
it.
was just so cool to watch.
Yeah,
Go
listen, I
on.
think
Sorry I interrupted you.
no, that's okay. My main takeaway from the game, right? Like I can handle a loss. This is what we've been talking about all summer. I can handle a loss. I can deal with. I understand it's Flacco. I was being positive heading into it. I was trying to be like feeling good about it and everything. Um, I do not have any energy for the type of shit I saw anymore. I just don't. I can't do 1.5 step drops into a sack. And I understand the offensive line is bad and there's issues, but I can't handle that shit. I can't deal with Flacco doing his little 3-step jog. I've never seen a quarterback jog through a drop in my entire life, and I saw it like 20 times on Sunday. And I'm gonna put a little overarching sentiment of I have no idea if that's how they game planned it, if the offensive line is really that bad. It seemed like the takeaway on Tuesday from Saleh was that it was more an offensive line issue than a Saleh issue. I have trouble with that, but we'll see. These guys need to get going on Sunday. I don't think there's any excuses. We're going to talk to Gab in a little bit here, and she talked to us about the Browns and their offense, their defense and their defensive backs. There's no room for this anymore. They have to perform on Sunday. They can't come out slow. They have to come out firing on offense. I think MLF learned his lesson, hopefully, with Garrett. I think we should expect to see, 20 snaps from Garrett at least on Sunday. That's what I'm looking for. That was my takeaway coming out of the game. And then I know we're going to get into the conversation during the week. There was a lot of bullshit during the week that really annoyed me as well.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's not that the fact that they lost to a better team, and I think obviously a better coach team in all facets.
100%.
It's the fact that it's the type of loss where the defense is containing one of the best QBs in the league. Right, They're having a very hard time moving the ball. They scored one, pretty good touchdown, I think, in the first half.
The Andrews touchdown, the one over Bryce.
That was just quarterback and receiver making
great play. Not mad about that at all.
Right. So they're not giving up cheap touchdowns. You go into the half, you miss a field goal in the first half. It's 10-3 going into the half. And you just felt no sense of like this team can win this because the offense came out and it was just, it was just, for lack of a better term, it was just fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
and the other thing is this, right? Like the game was not over. The game changed off that 20-yard punt.
Yep.
When we're going to get a new punter, I don't know. Like that needs to get. Did we sign a new punter this week? I know they were like working people out.
Yeah, but it's probably gonna be one of those things where they sign him and then they cut him, where it's just like, hey, Braden, like step your shit up, and then they don't actually address needs, and then that same thing comes back to haunt them, right? Like we spent all summer talking about the Mackay thing. The whole thing with Mackay was staying healthy. A guy who hasn't been able to stay healthy in the league, the whole thing was banking on him being healthy. Shocker, he doesn't. Then they signed a 40-year-old tackle who immediately gets hurt, and their backup option is Max Mitchell, a supposed developmental tackle who they drafted in the 4th round. They don't address safety, right? LaMarcus Joyner, really good dude, probably, but he's an older player, got beat a couple times on the back end. Didn't address safety. They had a ton of young safeties on the roster 3 weeks ago that could have made this, but we're stuck with Ashton Davis, LaMarcus Joyner back there.
We got Parks this week.
Good. I don't want Joyner in there.
I think he's still going to be out there for sure. The question is how much they're going to rely on him and when will they start making
this team, and I get it, right? Like Joe's got his allegiance to his guys, but at some point it's put up or shut up time, man. Like I can't keep seeing that. That too led into how frustrated we were because it's the couple of things that we were talking about would be an issue all summer long. And it's immediately the two things that come to bite them in the ass and have them lose week 1 in a game that was, I wouldn't say winnable, but it wasn't. You should not be being blown out by the Ravens like that.
I agree.
It shouldn't. The way that game played out. That's what I meant. The way that game played out should not have been the way that it ended.
Yeah, the way the beginning of the game, it was I totally understand what you're saying. The beginning of the game, the defense looked great. The offense was not awesome, but they were like moving the ball. Michael Carter looked awesome.
Yeah.
We've shied away from the positive stuff, right? Like Michael Carter was awesome. Garrett Wilson, when he was on the field, was great. They needed more Garrett Wilson. Tyler Conklin, pleasant surprise. I was very happy to see like his success. On defense, Barrios, fantastic. On defense, Sauce, DJ, look like a really great combo. The defensive line is firing, right? Like there's a lot of really good things happening. It's just the same old story. It's this offense can't get going. And and I don't know if they're just trying to bide their time till they can get back to Zach. We'll talk about that whole debacle in a little bit.
If that's the case,
I don't think that's what's happening. I am of the belief that they think that Flacco is their best chance to win. That is what it seems like to me. They traded for him last year. They obviously view him as somebody who can get things done.
Right.
An ongoing thing to monitor with this regime has been their commitment to the guys that they go out and get through hell or high water. I think that has its positives, right? Where you can build confidence in players and you have like a long-term plan with a player, someone like a Max Mitchell who should not have been thrust into the role he was in, but they had a plan for him, right? So that type of stuff is interesting. But, the 6th round draft pick punter from 2 years ago, who's probably one of the bottom 5 punters in the NFL, shouldn't be kicking anymore. And Ashton Davis, who I was really excited about a year ago, I still hold out that it could potentially maybe something happening. Like he can't be in a position where we need him to succeed. And, like stuff like that just drives me nuts. So I'm not sure if you had any other thoughts on the Ravens game before we want to get into the week that was.
No, I think I didn't understand why, with the offensive line issues and the way that they kind of attacked the Ravens early on they tried to attack, and then you see them get Braxton space and Garrett Wilson in space and Michael Carter and Breece Hall, and it's working. And I don't understand why you don't just do that until they stop it. It's very simple, and like maybe that's just like an offensive coordinator
oversimplification of things.
Yeah, but to me, that was what I kept saying to my dad. I was just like that. Like these guys, they're getting yards. Like every time Brax touches the ball, he's getting positive yards. Every time Elijah touched the ball, positive yards. Garrett Wilson, positive yards. Like the running game they started off this season with a 19-yard run. When's the last time that's happened?
I was so fired up.
I was like, we're fucking like, hello, like Kansas City 2.0. See ya in Phoenix or whatever the Super Bowl is this year.
I don't even know. I think it's Jacksonville.
There's no shot they're having a Super Bowl in Jacksonville.
I mean, that's where they used to have it. Keep talking, but I'm gonna find out where the Super Bowl is this year.
Then they just continue to not do those type of things, and it like the thing too. I just lost my train of thought. 100% just lost my train of thought.
Talking about the game, takeaways from the game. You saw the offense start hot early and then fall apart, not getting the ball in playmakers' hands.
I don't know where I was going with that. Now I know what I was going to say. This team, I just completely blacked out there for whatever reason. Jesus Christ.
The Super Bowl's in Arizona, by the way. Thank you, Jay.
Phoenix. Yeah, there we go.
Good call.
Have you ever seen a team that if they fall behind and down in distance on first down has never been able to recover from that? If there's a false start, 1st and 15, drives over. Exactly. My brainworms. The Jets give me brainworms.
I can't figure out how they became so predictable so fast. It seemed like the Ravens knew exactly what was coming by the time the first quarter was over, and combine predictable play calling. I don't know if it was predictable or the Ravens are just that good. There's a whole other spin zone where the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl, and we completely overestimate the performance in this game. But
that's another thing too. Like the Ravens are a really good football team, and the Jets are hanging with them for a whole half.
For 1.5 quarters, we hung with the future Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens. But I don't know how we went from all these weapons all summer long. Again, not to harp on the summer thing too much, but like all summer long, it was Elijah, it was Garrett, it was Breece, it was Carter, it was Zach, it was Conklin, it was Uzama. And we fell into this thing where, and this is probably a combination of Flacco and the offensive line, where it was just like everything was one read and go or hand the ball off, because you can't trust Flacco to get through progressions, or Lake and Tomlinson and Fant and the offensive line are just going to fall apart. Not to call people out specifically, but like the offensive line clearly had some issues this week.
We've been calling Joe Flacco out directly for the past 15 minutes.
Joe Flacco deserves it.
Not to call him out specifically.
Yeah, you're right. He deserves it though. I'm really upset with Joe. I'm so upset. I had so much hope. I had so much hope for a revenge game. I have Thursday Night Football on here. The pregame crew that they have for this TNF is wild.
Who is it?
It's like, I don't even know. It's like Tony Gonzalez. They just went away. I remember being super confused. Al Michaels is now on the screen. Anyway,
you want to know what's funny about you not being at the game and me being at the game, which I didn't realize. So when I watch, so you're usually ahead of me, right? Whether you watch it on TV
cable
or whether you're
or
at the game.
live. Yeah.
So when I'm at the game and you text me, I'm like, what the fuck happened now? Not realize, like, my brain is
you already
just
saw
wired,
it.
Right, my brain is just wired to think that, like, fuck, here comes an interception. But not realizing that I'm watching it before you. It's happening right in front of my face.
Yeah, we got to figure out a way to get around that because it's an ongoing issue. You just don't have cable, so it's like impossible to.
Yeah,
to
and I also text. Not a big.
And I love a live text.
Yeah, see, and I'm not. I can't, like, you and Sean do it at a rate that I just can't. I'm holding the team back in that aspect when I'm watching.
You are holding the boys back a little bit.
Yeah,
you got to pick it up.
Because I'm a big, like, hey guys, I'm behind, and then I just never text.
Yeah, so that's how me and Sean just go into our own text on the side. And it's just screaming sadness the whole time. Okay, wait. So let me tell you the Thursday night kickoff crew. It's Tony Gonzalez, Carissa Thompson, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Richard Sherman. It's a random assortment. I kind of like the crew, but it's just a random assortment. I didn't know Ryan Fitzpatrick was a media guy now.
Yeah.
The last great Jets quarterback.
Going to Harvard.
People forget that. Okay, So let's talk about the week a little bit. I don't want it to take too much time. We have a very great interview with Gab coming up. I'm not going to go too far into it because it's Friday when you're listening to this, or Saturday, and we're on to the next week. I love Robert Saleh. I'm a huge, huge, huge fan. I think that there's a little bit of mixed signals going on with how he's speaking with the media. I think that this media market has a way of chewing people up and spitting them out. And I was listening to the radio, and Evan Roberts is calling him Joe Judge, and they're talking about it on all the, Page Six or New York Post and all this stuff. And it was a weird week. And his comments coming off of a loss like that were just very confusing to me.
So
the receipts thing, the episode of this, the title of this episode is Keeping Receipts.
Yeah. Jeff. So the post game, I think, was the first time that I really heard him pissed off. And I was like, well, you could just hear the tone of his voice, and I was like, all right, like, this is a good thing, I think. Like, how many times after a loss do we get the typical bullshit coach speak of, well, we just got to make more plays?
That's why Rex is the best. To come on and just destroy everybody when we lost.
Oh, yeah. And Saleh, like, he legitimately sounded very pissed, and I think he realized that this was a winnable game for them. So after the game, I was like, all right, like, he's pissed, whatever. As the week unfolds and we get what was it? We lost. They didn't beat us. Quote, the receipts quote. Like, okay, man, this team hasn't won a September game in what? In the Douglas era?
They're 0-12, 0-13 in their last September, right?
So 0-13 in the last September. Seasons, they haven't won a division game in what, 3 years? It's like yeah, that. Man, people are gonna keep shitting on you until you actually do something to stop them from doing it. Like, I'm at a point. I'm so fucking sick of the. Oh yeah, well, just you're just gonna motivate me, right? Like, no one believed in us. It's like, no one believes in you because you suck. Like, win a damn football game. Maybe people will start to, talk a little bit better about you. I can't stand that. It's like no one believes in us. Why would they?
Yeah, and I think this is where it's interesting because I feel like Saleh is just one of the guys in the locker room, and like that's how athletes talk, right? Like, that's what it is. When people are hating on you, whether you're good or bad, that's how you motivate yourself. So I think that's probably the conversation that's happening with the team, which I love and I kind of appreciate. But like, when you go into the public and you're like daring the New York media with the keeping receipts comment, like, it's just poking the bear for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've seen that story many times here, and that's where I think I had such a negative reaction to it immediately, and those texts are buried and gone, but they were not great.
We're on to Cleveland.
We're on to Cleveland. Exactly.
Well, that had the feeling of a guy who's in like year 4 lame duck coach, right? Not week 1, second year guy.
That's the part where where I think that's just how he speaks, and he isn't the type of guy who gives the canned coach answers, to give it a positive spin.
Yeah. And I also do like the Jets, someone in Jets PR has got to be like, we need to review, we need to like overhaul a bunch of shit. And
the next day he like took it back.
Yeah. Which means that
someone had a conversation for sure.
I was talking to with Robert, but that needs to happen before, right? Like, hey, Robert, what are we doing? Right. Like, I don't know how PR works in the slightest, so I'm just gonna spitball. I have no clue.
Are you asking me how they do PR? Because I don't know.
I'm prefacing it by saying I have no clue how it works.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think
I've seen it in like TV shows, right? Like he's not answering
like crisis PR happening. It's not the same.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
It's very, very, very.
Mr. President, this is what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're going to bring
on. Not talk about the nuclear codes.
We're going to bring on Jay. We missed out on him last time. He was at the game as well. I think he has some very poignant thoughts. Jay is kind of like my one source of truth, where he is like my devil on my shoulder, and then I'm fighting with the angel on my shoulder. That's Greg. So, Jay, talk to me about your feeling on the game. I know it was a rainy day. How are you feeling?
All right, so I just want to start. Has any general manager in the history of sports ever had a longer honeymoon period than what Joe Douglas has had to this point? Because
this is an interesting thing.
Is because you look at how many resources he's pumped into the offensive line so far. I mean, 2 first-round draft picks, a ton of money into Fan, a ton of money into Lakin. He put a ton of money into Dwayne Brown now to replace the mistake he made by drafting Becton, right? So, with all of Becton's injuries and everything, and then you get the performance you get out of the offensive line with, I get that Becton's out, and I get that, that Brown was out and they had to do a little shifting and all that
sides.
So, right. Not ideal, but like, you got to get a better performance than that. They had no chance to win specifically because of the offensive line. And that's the most money, the most money and resources that Joe Douglas had his 3.5 years here has been in overhauling that offensive line. And to have that be the reason you lose your opener like that. I mean, I get that Flacco wasn't good, but like, we know what Flacco is. He's an old man. He can't move. So if you block like that for him, there's no chance. They should have, honestly, if that was the performance they were getting out of the offensive line, put in Mike White. At least he's mobile. He can move around a little bit. Because like, he was a sitting duck. They had no chance. So that's what was frustrating to me. That and the punter situation was frustrating to me because, again, like I said to you guys in before we started, I don't understand how you draft a punter and his only job is to punt. And he's great at it in college, one of the best college punters of all time. He puts on the Jets jersey and he's punting 20-yard punts. I could have punted a 20-yard punt.
I don't get that either, Jay. It's very confusing. And the one thing the Douglas conversation is an interesting one. I think we're probably 2 weeks too early on it, but it's an interesting conversation where
we're preheating right now.
We're marinating. We're marinating for sure. I think the
don't
2020
know what that means, but yeah.
You don't know what marinating means?
I'm just kidding. It's a joke.
Oh, that's because you don't season your food. That's a good joke.
Yeah.
No
one got it,
so. the 2020 draft, I think everyone's pretty much just like chalked and like it's a non-factor. The 2021 draft isn't looking too hot either, to be honest, like as at this exact moment in time. And on the offensive line thing, I think you kind of have to make decisions on roster construction. I really don't blame him that much. Like, he's gotten unlucky. We got lucky last year with Moses. I think we got unlucky this year with Dwayne Brown. The Mackay thing is the decision that was made was that they wanted to build the defense more than they wanted to build the offensive line. You can have your thoughts on that in the year 2022 when it's all about the quarterback, but they made a decision to go with Sauce. They did draft Max Mitchell. It's not like they completely ignored it. I think they didn't expect him to start playing right away. So what? You don't agree, Jay? Greg?
No, we drafted an offensive lineman in the first. I'm sorry, we drafted an offensive player in the first round. We drafted a wide receiver in the first round and didn't barely play him. And then when he gets out there and he makes a play, and then they take him out and they don't play him again, and then the coach rips the guy for not getting an extra yard when he should have been tackled 6 yards further back. It was just confusing to me, the whole thing. Like I
don't even know what you guys are talking about with that.
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, I think it came across bad. I kind of get I think it was just kind of heat of the moment type thing. He basically said, like rookie younger guys where Garrett basically has to learn when to lower his shoulder to get the extra yard instead of trying to make another guy miss.
That's a good take. I don't hate that at all.
I didn't hate it, but he also, I mean, look, I'm just trying to show
The
him some love.
situation.
He made a wildly good, like he broke some ankles there just to even be able to get to the point where he needed to lower his shoulder. So maybe he learns that, but that's besides the point. I think that, like, you know, we got problems on the O-line. We got big problems, especially if Lakin and like Becton. I mean, you got a lot of money pumped into guys that, like, you have no clue what you're getting at this point. And the performance was just brutal. I mean, you hope it gets better. You hope they gel. I mean, that could be just a product of, like, no reps together as a line, like, through all.
I think that's a big conversation. It's a big piece of the puzzle as well.
So let's just see how it plays out. I'm not going to freak out yet, but like if you're still getting performances like this week 5, week 6, you got big problems.
You're going to hear Gab's prediction later in the show. If that is how this game plays out, I will lose my mind. That cannot be we cannot get blown out again. We just can't. No. What up, Clay? We just can't. So, I think we can maybe kick it over to Gab right now. I think it's been an interesting week. I think coming out of Sunday, we'll see what happens. I have a theory that we should do a reaction show on Sunday afternoon and just get a quick 20-minute reaction therapy session, venting session, whatever it needs to be.
Hot off the presses.
Because I think right now we're too cool. I'm even too relaxed now. So I think I want to get my raw reaction on wax on Sunday.
The texts that were sent Sunday into Monday. Well, Monday I think you were a little bit better until the quotes came out, because credit to you. You did have a little how we feeling today, fellas, which is how I know you've calmed down. But Sunday was a bloodbath.
Sunday was bad. Monday was bad. Tuesday was tough. Wednesday was, I kind of checked out. And then this morning I felt good, and now I'm back to feeling bad again. So I don't really know exactly how to feel heading into the game on Sunday. But, it is what it is.
I'm going to pardon myself from In Your Feelings Sunday. I don't want to get any in trouble on this podcast, so I get a little.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. We definitely need your energy, because if it's what I think it's going to be, we need that. So
I'm feeling a win on Sunday. That's my bold prediction.
Is that where you're at right now? So we gave our final score predictions. Let's just talk about how we see the game ending, Greg, and kind of see how the game playing out. And Jay, I want your prediction too. Yeah. I kind of feel like this game is, like I said, it's a field goal, 1 or 2 plays late in the game that decide it, I think, is kind of where this game is heading. These are two really, really not awesome teams right now. And I think the total in Vegas is 39.5. The spread's very confusing to me. It kind of screams bet the Jets, if I'm being honest, but I won't do that.
Take the Browns.
That's exactly right. So, I think they got to perform better. It cannot be a blowout. I'm okay with losing if it's, 24-21, if it's 28-20, like that's fine. It can't be 10 points. It cannot be 1 touchdown. It has to be at least 2 touchdowns. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that, like, their strength is obviously their running game. I mean, that's where their offense goes through. They have,
I'm trying to get bets in right here, so I'm going to be put back a little bit.
Brissett's not a very good quarterback. I mean, he's just not. He's your typical, like, game manager, hope he can get the job done. But I mean, if you can stop the Browns running game, which the Jets were able to really kind of stop Lamar and stop the Ravens running game, and if they can get a similar performance out of the defense, I don't think that you have to worry about Jacoby Brissett throwing the ball over the top to the Browns receivers. I think that you can really keep this game pretty low scoring. I think the Jets are going to win this game in a real snooze fest, like 17-9.
17-9?
Yep.
Yikes.
The more I think about this game and these two teams going up against each other, I have this weird feeling that it's going to be a game that's winnable, that the Jets are too young to win at this point, if that makes sense. Where it's one of those things where, like, experience comes in on a play and it's one of those where, like, a silly young rookie mistake or something like that cost them the game. I just think, them stopping the run it's like Chubb and Hunt are just two guys where like, Chubb could have, 12 carries for 38 yards through 3 quarters and end up with 104. Like in this Jets, the way this Jets defense is combined with that offense, like, would we be shocked about that if something like that happened?
No.
Sure not.
I've seen it too many times where a guy like Brissett just eats the Jets alive with these, like, it's just like all week you're like, yeah, Jacoby can't throw deep. So what do the Jets do? They play deep, right? Like they just played it. They let that shit happen. I truthfully don't think we win this weekend. Honestly, I can't talk myself into a Joe Flacco win at this point.
I expect him to be benched in this game.
I hope so. Truthfully, like there needs to be a spark or something. And my fear is, I hope they don't do this, but like my fear is like that we lose this game and we look like shit, and it's like all hands on deck to get Zach back a week or so too early.
Bro, I think Zach's ready to go. We didn't get to talk about that. There's videos of him running around out there with no with no braces on. Let's get him back. Let's figure it out here.
But you need to decide early. If it's not already decided when he's going to play, you need to decide early on when he's going to play. This can't be like, he's got to take the first team reps. He's got to go through the game plan. He's got to go through the installs. This can't be one of those things where, it's 50-50. Flacco, we're gonna decide, and then one of those guys comes in and it's fucking, it's a mess.
You know what I thought was weird? I thought you don't bring back young quarterbacks on the road. I always thought it was week 3 or week 5.
I mean, I think our guy Joe Caparoso put it this way: there's always a reason to not bring a guy back, right? Like if he's good, just bring him in. It's 2022. Like I think I'm not, shitting on that, right? Like the thought of that, but it's also like it's 2022. Like it's like the thing with like, hey, a guy needs to sit a year to learn.
Maybe I mean I guess I kind of subscribe to this one because I get
the home thing. Yeah, I get what you're saying
for sure. Especially a guy like him.
Yeah, it's just,
guys, if this game's close, I mean, we don't have a field goal kicker. We got a real problem. And I don't understand for the life of me. And it's funny because I know you like him because his name is Greg, but like we had a kicker that we finally brought in last year that was kicking well, and then Pinero, and then we cut him for this guy that first game he misses an extra point and a relatively short field goal. I mean, come on, like we haven't had a kicker in like 6 years.
Yeah.
It was truly wild to see
to get a freaking field goal kicker
like Justin Tucker, like not even a sense of doubt. That guy could have kicked it from like the tunnel, and I would have thought it's going in.
It's got to be unbelievable, man.
60-yard field goals. The freaking Broncos are basically taking a knee with a minute left because they want to boot a 64-yard. And he missed it, but like people have confidence.
It was close.
We have no confidence in our kicker. I promise you. Every time he runs on the field, you're feeling nervous on a 34-yard field goal from Zerline. I don't know, man. Why can't we find a field goal? We were cursed at field goal kicking since, we
drafted Mike Nugent. That was the thing that cursed us, is my take.
Or
Jason
Bryan.
Myers, actually. When we let Jason Myers walk, we haven't had a kicker since.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Feeding into the beat reporters propaganda, Jay. I don't
care about Jason Myers leaving, but like, how hard is it to find a field? This is what blows my mind. Every college team has a field goal kicker and a punter. We can never find one. It's been this long since we've had a guy that can kick the ball.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be this hard.
Anytime Jason Myers even looks at a football, the beat reporters are like, Jets, let him go.
Yeah,
Mac New or whatever the hell they say.
Andre Roberts, the same thing.
Andre Roberts. Shout out to Andre Roberts, bro. How about Jamison Crowder, by the way? It looks like gonna find a nice little spot in Buffalo. Guy's gonna win a Super Bowl, probably, right in my mouth.
Yeah, sick.
Oh.
Unbelievable.
They look good. Oh, Jesus, the Buffalo Bills look good. It's so depressing.
Yeah, they're a different beast. It's a different type of sport.
What's gonna happen when we play them? I mean, what's that score?
We're gonna lose by 1 billion points.
We're gonna get there when we get there.
Yeah, we're focused on
Bills week is gonna be tough.
We're on to Cleveland right now.
Yeah.
They usually play them like sort of kind of tough though.
Yeah, it's in division. That's how it always goes.
Yeah.
Can I tell you guys a sneaky bet I put in before the season started? I don't think I told you about. I have 2 bets. I have Patriots to finish last in the AFC East plus 700.
Ooh.
And I also have Jets to finish third plus 450.
So that's going to come down to the Jets are going to have to beat the Patriots at least.
That was
once.
my thought.
I mean, like we haven't.
I also have Jets to sweep the season series against the Patriots.
Oh, if that happens, it's a lot. I mean,
A
it's
lot.
pretty much a lot. They're not. The Patriots will be dead last if the Jets sweep them. That
Exactly.
How would they
Obviously
win a game?
a big long shot, but I figured it seems like it was just very clear to me that the Patriots were the worst team in the league, and
they have no
I acted
talent
on that. Zero.
They have
no talent on offense, and
they benched their best offensive player last week.
Wild. They just benched their best player. It's unbelievable.
It's like the Jets being like, "Hey, yeah, we think we're better off without Elijah Moore. We're just going to bench him this week for no
Exactly.
reason."
On full tank. He wants one of those quarterbacks.
Yeah, he
Senile.
really does. All right, that's it. We're gonna cut it to Gab. It's been fun. We'll see everyone next week. Hopefully coming off a W.
1-1.
Here comes Gab. Peace and love. All right, everyone. Welcome back. Just Enough to Suffer. We are here, Lou and Greg. We are joined this week by Gab Gowdy. I was going to make a little correlation to cards, but Gab doesn't know anything about cards, so I'll just skip right over it. There's a baseball card. The Babe Ruth Gowdy is like considered one of the
best ever?
One of the best ever for sure.
How much does that go for?
A lot of money, depending on the grade.
How do I get one? I don't.
Depends how many parlays you hit this weekend, and then go from there.
Right. Got it.
Cool. So we are here. Gab is
first
guest of the show ever.
Woo, no way. What?
Yeah, really excited.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're just getting rolling. So this is our first season.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Gab and I have never spoken before, so I was hoping that we could open with Gab talking through her day-to-day, her Browns fandom, and then I want to get into the game.
Yeah, whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm here to talk.
Cool.
So,
all right, so Gab, tell us about it. Talk to us about FanDuel. Talk to us about your Browns fandom, and then we'll get into it.
Okay, so for FanDuel, I work from home. I make memes every day. I'll make some TikToks, have some meetings. I mean, it's really fun. I travel a lot. I'll go to games. I'll go to events that they have. We just had a fan fest in Chicago.
I saw that.
Which is really, really cool. It's free for the public. You go, you can play games there. You can bet on different retired athletes playing games there. They'll speak. There's concerts. There was Wiz Khalifa. Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, FanDuel's awesome. Get to go to games, get to meet some cool people, talk to people, and just enjoy watching sports. For the most part, enjoy, because I feel like we're in the same boat here. Sometimes we just don't really have that much enjoyment watching our teams.
Yeah.
Enjoy is a loose term.
Yeah, we're pretty similar. Jets and Browns history are both pretty tortured.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like to say this. I do think that I was at the game where the vibe completely changed for the Browns, and that's the game that Baker became the starter.
Yeah. That was a wild game.
Yeah, so that was one of the worst days of my life, I would say.
Oh my God.
It was one of those times where we flew in for the game, we get there, we're at the game, the whole stadium.
You went?
Yeah, I went. I was in Cleveland.
So you were there for the big celebration.
Yeah, the fridges and
the
all that
coolers
stuff.
and the Bud Lights. Yes. So you got to experience all. So if you were going to experience Cleveland, I guess that's the way to do it.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
You experienced Cleveland.
So obviously you guys have gone through a couple changes since then. How did you feel about Baker?
Okay. See, I'm going to sound
so
like
let's do, how about we do pre-draft, before the Browns drafted him, and then after?
Well, so my family, they are Ohio State fans. I'm not the biggest college football fan. I'll watch. I'll go to the games. The games are really fun. I'll go for the tailgates, the parties there. That's what I liked. I thought their fans were kind of crazy. And the flag thing, planted the flag at Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big deal when they drafted him. So they drafted him. I'm watching the draft with my dad. And they draft Baker Mayfield. He goes, "You gotta be fucking kidding me! We're gonna be doing this again." And then people were booing in the crowd because they're all Ohio State fans. I'm thankful for what he did. He provided a lot of good moments for us. I mean, good moments for this
Relative
football team
term again.
are hard to come by. And yeah, he did that. But I just really didn't think that he was ever going to be that guy. I tell this story all the time. Like, I knew this is the moment that I knew that he wasn't going to be that guy, because I'm watching the game against the Steelers. This is the year they went to the playoffs, actually. First game against this 2020. Well,
2020.
yeah, 29. Yes.
That
whatever.
season.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we are watching it. I'm the only Browns fan. I'm watching it in Pittsburgh. I went to school in Pittsburgh. Watching it, only Steelers fans. Baker Mayfield first pass, pick 6 to Minka Fitzpatrick, and I'm like, I cannot keep doing this. I can't keep doing this. I cannot keep watching this every week. It did get a little better, but yeah, I was like, no, he's not the guy. And people were like so mean to me when I would say stuff about him. Like, guys, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
Team doesn't like him. He didn't like us. It's just, it was time to go. I hope he has a good time in Carolina, but like,
it's the house of 20.
Sorry that you lost.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for sure. And something else about Baker was like, even before everything happened, like after last season, it kind of seemed like he was on his way out anyway. So it felt like the team was just moving in a different direction.
Well, yeah, he wrote a goodbye letter before even like it
that
being
was
traded.
Wild.
Yeah. So I said, okay, sir, if this is how we're going to go, this is how it's going to be. I don't expect anything less from the man who just made T-shirts.
Right, exactly.
To hype up the game that he lost and then say, I can't believe people treated this like a Super Bowl.
He's such a weird guy because like the whole last season, he's like, you know, because that's his personality, tough it out.
Right.
Like he clearly cannot throw football. And then at the end of the year, he's like, well, why are you guys, you know, trading for Deshaun and getting my replacement? And it's just like, guy. Like,
but like, it wasn't, it's not just
mirror.
the like Deshaun thing. They were moving on.
Yeah.
With or without that. Yeah, they just happened to do that. But they were moving on with or without him. Like, they tried to get Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson's not very good either, clearly, it seems.
Well, I think it's a little early for that.
When you go up against
he's
Smith,
better than Geno Smith.
That's
the
my
next
guy.
Only few can compare to Geno, so
right.
Let's see.
Can
Russ
I ask
against
you
Geno.
guys a question?
Of course.
Yeah.
And then I want to get beyond our past woes, and you can get into the future, and we'll talk about how bad the Jets are because they stink.
A question for you guys. So, if you had the choice between starting Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield, who are you picking?
I'm a big Sam.
Oh, see this, yeah. Yeah.
I'm a huge Sam guy. I always have been a big Sam guy.
Mm-hmm.
The day of that draft, I'm so glad I did it. It's unfortunate that it didn't work out, but I watched the draft with one of our very good friends, Sean, and then my dad, and I recorded ourselves with the pick, the whole draft. Going into that draft, if you remember, the thought was that Sam was the number 1 pick and that Baker.
Oh, I thought that too. I thought he was,
So when Sam somehow the day of it became Baker to the Browns, I was like, Sam can come to the Jets, and I just like was over the moon excited.
I think it sounds great in the moment.
Of course. And his rookie year was like up and down. He had that late stretch. And I still kind of feel like what ended up happening with Gase, it was just like not a good situation. Right. And the way it kind of works in the NFL is once you have two bad years in a row, especially when you're a quarterback, it's pretty much over. And it was kind of out of his hands in a way. So I don't know. I would definitely Geno Smith. Well, yeah. I would definitely take Sam in a have to win situation.
Yeah, I'm in the same line of thinking in that no matter
definitely
what
no Jets bias here at all.
No, well, like the way I'm looking at it is like, right, Baker had they got rid of Odell because he was too wide open, right? And Baker couldn't hit him. So like, do I want the guy who like can't hit the wide open receiver, like a guy like Odell? I mean, the Sam thing, it's like what Lou said, right? Like you'd see it in glimpses in like 2 or 3 game stretches where it's like, all right, Sam could be the guy. But then you'd have like 4 or 5 game stretches where it's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? You know? So, but he went from Bowles and Jeremy Bates to Gase for 2 years. Yeah. And so it's like, there's still in the back of my head, like, hey, right situation. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. All right. On to bigger and better things. This week, Jets Browns.
Like Joe Flacco and Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, God. Just the matchup we want to watch.
Bigger and better things, baby.
Oh,
unbelievable that they were just right back here. Here we are.
I need to tweet that. Like, this is just the matchup we've been waiting for.
Time is a flat circle. I'm telling you. It's just
They've probably played against each other, right? At some point, maybe. I don't know. It's really hard to tell because
Brissett's bounced around.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he played that one game in New England. Maybe
I'll look it up. I'll see.
Yeah, we'll look it up.
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see.
We did our research.
Gab, talk to us about how you're feeling about the Browns this season. Obviously, there's been a lot of different things happening.
Oh my God.
It's weird. Right now, where do you sit coming out of last week's game? It was obviously a weird one. So I would love to know how you're feeling, and then I want to compare that to myself so I know how upset to get.
Well, I feel like for like the past couple years, there was a lot more optimism, The vibes were high going in, and then they always were really low after. But I feel like right now I'm just like, I see what they have.
Mm-hmm.
They have a below average quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over, but he's also not going to take the ball down the field.
Right. Game manager in like the literal sense.
But the least amount of manage that you can do
right.
to get by. Yeah. Like that's the manager that we have. And like no hate to Jacoby. I like Jacoby. I think he's a great guy. I'm really rooting for him. I hope he has a lot of success because the situation that he's in, it's very awkward, very weird. So I hope he does well. But my expectations are not very high.
Interesting. So are you expecting to win this weekend?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm expecting to win this weekend.
Is that because you're playing the Jets or because that's how you are every week?
Jets. No offense.
Got it. No, that's fine. That's completely fine. No, that's what I wanted to hear.
Me to say that as a Browns fan is also like kind of funny, because we're always like every single joke that the Browns are the Browns and they're never very good. So exactly. I do expect them to win. I think our defense is really good. We have a great running game. O-line is awesome. Receivers, no. Quarterback, no. But other than that, I mean, we could kick field goals all day.
Got it.
The Jets cannot. So that's
we'll
you got us there.
Yeah. So the Jets, it's very interesting where obviously the Browns are in a different spot, like we were saying, but everything the Browns are good at right now, the Jets are bad at. So it's going to be really tough watching Myles Garrett just eat alive this offensive line this Sunday. And I'm going to be super negative for the next 20 minutes, and then I'll try to bring myself back to life. But
I mean, I would be worried about Myles Garrett too. He scares me.
Yeah. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And something I'm wondering is how do the Browns DBs stack up with our talent on offense, Greg, is something I'm thinking about. And then where do we think that there are opportunities for the Jets to succeed in this game? Greg.
Okay, so our DBs, I would say our DBs are one of our biggest strengths. Like you have Jamar Chase doing hate speech out here on our corners on a podcast because they locked him up so bad.
What did they say? I didn't even see this.
Oh, there was, the Pivot podcast.
I do. Oh, I never watched his full pivot. So he was just talking while it's mad.
Yeah, he said the Browns DBs talk the most shit. He hates playing against them when they see each other. It's on site. And I'm like, dude, you've never beat them. And the Bengals haven't beat us in a game since Baker Mayfield and Andy Dalton threw back-to-back field length picks. So
love that.
Right.
This is unbelievable. I can't believe how similar these two teams are.
Right. So, I mean, our DBs are kind of nice. Denzel Ward, really good. Greg Newsome, pretty good. But sometimes they have a little bit of miscommunication. How's Joe Flacco with the deep ball right now? I know he's like 75, but like, is he slinging it?
Gab, I will send you a video of Joe Flacco doing some of the worst dropbacks in the history of the NFL. It was some of the worst quarterback play I've ever seen, and I'm not joking.
Well, like if someone's wide open, he can get it there.
He has to get out of his dropback first before he's getting sacked.
Because that's how the Panthers scored points against us. There's a miscommunication. You had Robbie Anderson out there by no one.
I like the sound of this, Greg.
So maybe have Garrett Wilson run out there a little bit. I would like to see him more on the field.
As would I. As would every Jets fan.
You and us both.
I'm like, I feel like there's going to be a lot of Ohio State Garrett Wilson jerseys at the game. Usually how it goes.
Yeah, right. Now that makes a lot of sense.
I can see that happening.
Greg, what are you thinking about right now? Talk to me.
I mean, it all depends on how the O-line holds up, right? Because it's against Baltimore, like, the Jets would call plays where it's deeper route combinations and it's going to take a little bit more time. And Flacco, as we saw in the game, once he hits his fourth, fifth step, like the play's over because the Jets O-line is terrible right now. It's not great. And that was against a Ravens pass rush that doesn't have Myles Garrett and that doesn't have Jadeveon Clowney. So
I forgot about Jadeveon Clowney. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, the Jets did have a lot of success in like quick game, and I thought the Panthers did a pretty good job of getting the ball out quick and just trying to get in their guys in space, which is something, I think that we want the Jets to do more of, because you saw when they got into Elijah's hands. The Garrett Wilson play where he juked a couple people, even Braxton Berrios.
Nice.
Yeah, well, the coach, of course, criticized him for that.
God forbid.
God forbid he doesn't try to juke the 14th player on the field to try to get a first down. If they can, I think the thing I'm looking for is, the Browns tackling. I do think this Jets offense will try to get their players in space more. I think they have to do more quick stuff. They're not going to have the time to do these, late developing routes. And when they do get a chance to hit a deep ball, they're going to have to take it, right? Like you need to somehow manufacture a way for Elijah Moore or a Garrett Wilson to get open down the field and move the chains, because, for a team like the Browns, if they're going to shorten the game up, right? Like Brissett's he's not going to beat you deep, like we just talked about.
No, they clearly know he can't get the ball past like 19 yards. I think that was his longest pass.
Exactly. And then when
I might have made that up, but
generally speaking, that's
I don't think a ball went further than that.
No, and then the couple of times where he did have people open, he sailed it over their heads. So, it may come down to who can make a deep play first, but for the Jets, I don't think they're going to have many opportunities, just because the way I think the Browns are going to want to play, and it's going to be, the Jets had a good game against the run last week, but I think the Browns are a different animal when you have a two-back tandem like Hunt and Chubb. So it's going to be, I don't think there's going to be a whole ton of possessions, and it's going to be one of those games where you have to take advantage of a play or two that could swing the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
That's
I saw the
just my
line.
look at it.
I saw the line was like 6.5, and that obviously the Jets are very bad as discussed, but like that line seemed like really high to me. Like it seemed like both of these teams are not very good, and it's going to come down to one or two plays that determine the whole game.
See, I feel like they're going to win by like 10 or more, but that's because I'm biased.
Ugh.
I know. I'm sorry.
The Jets are really bad. No, it's completely fine. I appreciate this. Is literally the reason we're doing this is so that I can set expectations properly heading into a game.
Man, I see. Me too, but I might be lying to myself.
That's all right. That's what fandom is.
And
That's
lying
why we love
to
it.
you. So
that's why we.
I consistently go through a cycle of lying to myself every week.
Yeah, every Sunday morning.
Right.
Every Sunday morning, like 10 a.m. It's like,
Well, it's like Monday, right? Where it's fire everybody, get rid of everybody. Tuesday, kind of more the same. Wednesday is where like the vibes kind of shift, right?
Where we could really do this.
Yeah, things weren't as bad as I thought they were Sunday, and then you start like racking your brain, starting to think of little ways that the Jets can win. Sunday, like you said, lose Sunday at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. I'm fucking in. I might bet the Jets. I might buy points to bet the Jets laying points. Who knows?
Well, like if it makes you feel any better, the Cleveland Browns are the most likely team ever to fuck up. It's not a proven stat, but like I know it.
That feels right.
If we ran the numbers, it would be Cleveland Browns fuck ups more than everybody else.
I did see that on Pro Football Reference, so I know you're coming from a good space there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to. Are you an Indians fan?
Yes.
Hey,
or Guardians fan?
Guardians.
Sorry.
Jay, cut that out.
Guardians. I'm a Guardians fan. Go Guards. They're first place in the division. They're making me a little nervous.
Interesting. So I think it's lining up that it might be. I'm an Astros fan, so it's lining up that it's possible it's Astros Guardians first round, which would be interesting. I might have to revisit
today we were playing the frickin' Mariners. That's my worst nightmare.
Mariners
I don't want to play them. I would rather play anybody else. I'm not kidding.
I don't know if you want to play the Astros. Yankees for sure.
Not the Astros, but I would rather play the Yankees. I'd rather play the Blue Jays. Literally.
Thank you, Gab.
Anybody else.
I appreciate this. This is great. I love this.
Okay,
so
excited are you for Donovan Mitchell?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Are you guys Knicks fans?
No,
absolutely not. I'm a
Who's your
Celtics
basketball
fan.
team? You're a Celtics fan? Who's your team?
I don't really have a favorite basketball team. I kind of just like watch. I'm not a huge NBA guy. It kind of bores me.
Okay, because I just want to say shout out to the Knicks fans. You didn't get him.
We didn't get him.
You didn't get him. We got him.
Is it tough though? No, I don't think it's that because they.
Oh yeah, Jay's a Knicks fan.
Jay's
Man,
I'm sorry. See, I'm really sorry.
Jay.
I'm really sorry for that. But Knicks fans have been making me so mad.
Yeah,
he's gonna be so miserable there. I'm like, why would he be miserable playing with Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen? Like that sounds really miserable to me.
They're like
over Obi Toppin and RJ Barrett. Like, who would you rather play? Who would you rather play with?
The Cavs. Right now, I'm not nervous about the Cavs right now. but I have my eye on them. They're
Right.
like, it's like they're not at a Milwaukee or
They're a little
I
sneaky.
mean, yeah, but like they're gonna become the team where they'll probably be like what, like a 6-7 seed,
Like
That'd
the
be fine.
Grizzlies of
That'd
the
be fine.
East.
right? But it's like
Oh,
one of those
don't
teams
put
where
us
it's
with the
like,
Grizzlies. Grizzlies are frauds.
oh,
Wait,
wow.
you don't like the Grizzlies? How do
I
you not
hate
like
the Grizzlies.
They're like one of the most likable teams in the NBA.
They make me so
I feel
mad because there's like the Cavs you could love or the Grizzlies, and everyone's picking the Grizzlies.
Oh,
Pick
I
the
see. So it's like a
Cavs.
It's a
rivalry
fun,
thing.
lovable
Now I
team.
understand.
Yeah, the Celtics kind of moved out of that fun realm when they made the finals this year.
They
But yeah, I
stink.
mean, what do you mean they fucking stink? What does that mean?
Come on,
They just made the finals.
I love Marcus
Thank you.
Smart.
Thank you. That's all I needed to hear.
I love Marcus Smart
is-
too.
No, you don't.
You know who I don't love?
No, you do
Jason
not.
Tatum. No, I like Marcus Smart.
Okay, I like Jason Tatum, but sorry, I'm just going on
Settle
this
down.
little basketball rant.
This is perfect.
Settle
I
down.
just hated how he said, I
Tread
like
lightly.
Jason Tatum, but I hated when he said, someone asked him, like, do you consider yourself a superstar? And he's like, who's saying that?
Yes,
Sir,
I love that.
you're a superstar. You need
So
to
you
say-
said it. So you said
But
it.
like-
So you're
but
the
like
one that
why-
said it.
But no, he should say, yeah, I'm a superstar. Why would he not say that? It's his team.
He's
I
a
kind of
humble
agree
gentleman.
with this take.
If
by
he-
Gab.
Okay.
No, I'm not a
So-
superstar. He sounds
so
like a little baby.
That's
so
true.
here's the dynamic of the Celtics. Okay,
Yeah, there's
Tatum
the
is
three-headed monster of no one who wants to win. Keep going.
Oh yeah, sorry that they played the best shooter of our generation, and he absolutely
feel that one. Oh
mutilated
my
us.
God.
What about the part where you snuck by in the playoffs? Otherwise, you should have been eliminated. to begin
Snuck by in the playoffs, absolutely blew the doors off Milwaukee in Game 7. Okay,
Oh
and
my
should have
God.
won against the Heat in 6 if we didn't squander it at home. And then they fucking
I get
Game
it with the
2 of
Warriors, though. You know, I hate
Yeah.
playing them.
Yeah, well, I mean, you shouldn't have in 2018 if the Celtics, don't miss a billion wide open shots and Tatum doesn't stare in LeBron's face after he dunks
Mhm.
after him.
Yeah. And then
no,
you have,
I mean-
Kyrie, who's going on a rampage right now on the internet, so that's fine.
Yeah, he's out here being
Kyrie just
Yeah, you know.
yeah, that
doing full
I mean,
Kyrie.
quitting the Milwaukee series. No, I mean the Celtics. It's Tatum's the best player, obviously. Marcus is the heart and soul of the team, more vocal.
He's the
And
instigator.
Jalen is, and Jalen, yeah, and then Jalen is what makes everything go. That's the way it kind of breaks down. And then Al's just the father figure.
Right. But I mean, if someone asked like Darius Garland, they'd say, would you consider yourself a superstar? And he would say, who's saying that? I would say, Darius,
Figure it out.
change your fucking answer, sir.
That's true. It's very
That was
strange.
such a point of contention.
Yeah, it's kind of a weirdo take. Anyway, I don't want to do too much on the Celtics.
Right.
Gab, can
why
you
not?
give me, because they stink? Can you give
Oh,
me?
come on.
Can you give me your final score for this
Oh,
Sunday?
God.
Give me a final score, and I also want who is your MVP for the Browns this weekend?
31-10, Nick Chubb.
What the
31-10.
yeah, what the hell, man?
Well,
Yeah.
it's
No, that's fine.
okay. Well, hear me out though. So this is
31-10.
going to be an insane stat, and you guys are probably going to say that's crazy. I don't believe it. But the Browns have not went 2-0 since 1993, and that's when they were the Ravens. Now the Browns. So
They haven't been 2-0 since I've been alive. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
yeah, same. Nice, right?
So cool. So we can make history for you guys. This is great. I love
Yes.
making history for other teams.
For the
It's one of
second
my favorite things.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite things.
What's
okay,
with
so
the elf?
What's
Yeah.
with the elf?
Why is it like I didn't do any research because I wanted to hear it
Yeah.
from
Do
the
you-
source.
okay, well-
What's with the elf?
What do you guys think of it? I won't yell at you.
I think the elf is sick. It's so
So-
weird. It's cool.
So my
That's my
grandpa was a big Browns fan, and he had
That's
like
unfortunate.
all this. Yeah, I know all the stuff that he had like the elf on it, and I
Mhm.
never understood it.
Okay,
I get it though because like I get it, but I also don't get it because like you can't just put out like a helmet logo because that's
Yeah, right.
that's tough if your logo's a helmet.
Right. It's just a really, it's a really weird. It's a really weird time. Imagine putting a helmet on a helmet. It's
yeah, like
all I
just
think of every single time.
helmetception.
Yeah. So this
Imagine
is
that.
Brownie. His name is Brownie,
Original.
and that was the original logo, like mascot for the team when the team first started. And they had like fans submit artwork for the logo of the team, and this was the one that was selected.
Oh, so I didn't know that.
What were the
Right.
other
I
options?
didn't know
I don't
anything.
know.
Yeah,
I
what
don't
did-
know. That was in 1946. Hopefully, they have some documents saved from
Yeah.
that. But they picked that, and that was the logo for a long time until that freaking awful man Art Modell bought the team, and he said, "I hate it. We're getting rid of it."
I think it's way better than what you had before. It's a serious.
Well, we had
upgrade.
nothing before.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It was a brown
helmet.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah,
brown
we
helmet.
had a helmet.
It's a
We didn't even
brown-
have it.
It was
in
an
the
orange
middle.
helmet. No, it was
We-
an orange helmet. It wasn't even a brown helmet.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a logo, and well, we haven't had a logo in the middle of the field for like 6 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, might as well put some there then. And
So-
fans voted on it. It was a
That's
fan
cool.
vote, and it won by like a significant amount.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Are they changing the uniforms and stuff too, or is it just the midfield?
Just the midfield. I mean, they've incorporated this.
Oh,
I mean, it's always since Armadale has been gone.
right.
They've had the brownie logo.
Got it.
For
I
a
thought they
while.
like made it it seemed like it became a big thing this week, so I thought something was happening.
Right, but like I've had this hat for like years.
Respect. You're an OG.
Yeah. Right. Like
Isn't
I
it
feel like
bad
I see
juju
what?
to put the logo on the field.
I mean, what hear me out though. What could we lose? We already
Absolutely
lost
nothing.
we already lost 16 in a row.
That's
I
right.
mean,
But
we
if you,
can't
like,
lose. We can't go 0-17, so we already won. So
That's
True.
true. But like with what like the logo goes on the field, then you like what if the Jets happen to blow them out? Then like you can never bring the logo back.
That's
on the field.
interesting. If the Jets blow them out, you can't bring it back.
but hear me out though. We got blown out with no logo. So what makes a difference if we get blown out
That's
with logo?
fair. That's fair. With logo.
Because
Yeah, that's fair.
they're talking
Browns,
like the Browns.
Browns get record with without logo.
So like they're talking about a new stadium and talking about like getting a dome, and if it's funded the correct way, I mean, I think that would be great because the weather here is not very good, and people were like, "Oh, well, the weather has always helped Cleveland," and then in my mind, I'm like, when has anything
The weather-
ever helped?
Yes, the
When has
Cleveland
anything
Browns,
ever helped the Browns? So that's like the
noted
same thing.
beneficiaries of bad
Same
weather.
thing with the logo. Like it's just not. It's not helping. Nothing's helping, and nothing's
Yes,
nothing's helping is what I'm
Nothing's
saying.
helping. I was gonna
Yeah.
say the one of the best stadium atmospheres I would say in the NFL is the Browns. That whole like main drag there as you're walking up to the stadium, elite. I walked that whole block. I was kind of intimidated, to be honest.
It
And they
is. It is
they
a
hadn't
lot.
won a game in a year and a half at that point.
Yeah, it's a lot. The people are nuts. Like I don't know how they keep showing up. It's like a mental illness, I think, to watch a team that doesn't
Same.
win.
Same.
Yeah.
I mean,
Every Sunday morning.
poster child.
Okay, last thing. I don't want to keep you for too much longer. Give me your number one pick of the weekend, and it cannot be Browns Jets.
Oh, a different game?
Can't be Browns Jets.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Take
Okay.
that 31-10 elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, like you want to do Browns
Um,
alternate -10.
No. We won't. We'll think. Let me think of this for a moment. Let me look at the game. So a different game is what you're saying.
Different game, or a sneaky Browns prop. I like as well.
Sneaky Browns prop, Anthony Schwartz anytime touchdown.
Who's Anthony Schwartz?
Okay, he was our third round draft pick last year. He's from Auburn. He's had a horrible preseason. He's not, but people blame him for Baker Mayfield's shoulder injury.
I
Yep,
got
wide
it. Okay,
receiver.
Blessing
I
in
like
disguise.
that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that touchdown line because it's got to be.
And I'm
high,
really
right?
rooting for him. It's like 780.
I love that. I might do a Jay. I call it the emotional hedge. It's like I just bet against myself so that if something happens against me, I still get a little
Right.
bit of the money on the back end.
Right. See, I'm really rooting for him because he had a really terrible preseason. He's one of those guys, like fans turn on them and really are ruthless and
Yeah.
mean. And I'm like, man, I just hope he does something good soon.
Good. I'm rooting
So.
for him too, just not this weekend.
Right.
What's your favorite random Browns player ever
Ooh.
of all time?
Odell Beckham Jr. Not very random, but he's my favorite.
Come
of all
on, that's
time.
not a random one. Come on.
Come on, he's my favorite.
What about like Eric Coleman? He was a great DB for
Yeah.
you guys in the early 20s.
Johnny Stanton.
Johnny Stanton.
He's a
That's what we're
fullback.
looking for. Exactly.
He just got cut this season, but he's an awesome guy. He would host like Dungeons and Dragons events, and him and Myles Garrett and the O line would play at like a random
I love this.
Why
Like
have
a-
we not signed him?
like a random what is like it's just a bar that you play like board games, a board game bar, and they would have
Got it.
events there like charity play
Like
board games
Barcade.
against each other. Yeah, he's awesome.
That's
Ally for everything. Yeah, he's a great guy. So I really wish he
love
was
that.
still on the team, but he's
John
no longer.
Stanton. What a pull. I've never heard that man in my life.
awesome. Me either.
Seems
All right,
like
Gab.
the most interesting man in the world, though.
Thank you so much for coming on, Gab.
Yes,
We
thank you.
wish you
Hey,
luck.
can you
the
guys
rest-
give me your score predictions?
Oh, yes, sure.
Yeah, I want to know.
I
Come
will
on.
go 21-17 Jets.
Whoa.
Wow. I'm going to go with 24-10 Browns. I mean, fuck, man. Joe Flacco is starting.
Do you think the over can hit?
No.
What's the
chance.
over?
39 points.
Mm-mm.
I don't think so. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Yes, I do.
I don't think it's going
that would be just over.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't believe
you said 31-10, so yeah.
Sure,
I can't believe
we'll go right at the mark.
Unbelievable.
I mean, look, man. You saw what I saw last week.
I have one more. I'm sorry, I'm taking the show.
This is
and
great.
I just don't want to take up.
What would be the ultimate, like, I cannot watch this anymore moment of the weekend for you? Like, if this would happen, you would say, can't watch, F you guys.
If Joe Flacco and the Jets come out and they do run, pass, punt, and they punt on 4th and 8, I'm out immediately. Like, I'm done. I've already told my dad. If they come out and they do the same, like, it's run up the middle, no gain, run to the left, no gain, and then a Flacco sack, I'm done. I'm out.
Well, Christian McCaffrey only had 33 yards.
Well, it's not even that. It's just the principle of, like, we're just here
play calling
to die.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just here to get through a football game. No intention of winning.
I am physically incapable of turning off a game. I have to watch the whole thing.
I know, it's a sickness, right?
And the thing that will get me to, like, a point of anger where I would start just, like, anger tweeting, probably. I expect them to pull Joe in this game. So, like, if
Who's
Joe
your
is
backup?
Mike White.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Mike fucking White. Yeah,
Mike fucking White.
Got it.
If I see Joe do the exact same thing he did last week, and, like, he throws an interception early in the game, pick 6, something like that. If he does something worthy of being pulled, which is, like, what I expect from him, and he's not pulled, I'll be very angry because it's just clear that they're just punting it and they're just trying to get to Zach, and that will annoy me.
And that's one thing that, like, I think that's the most frustrating part for us is that when Sam got mono a couple of years ago and they threw in, like, Luke Falk and Trevor Siemian, like, it was very clear that they had no intention of trying to win those games. It was just like, hey,
let's get it over with.
Let's just run the ball. Yeah, exactly. Let's just run the ball and get out of here. And I didn't think that was going to be the case Sunday because of, like, all the skill players that they have. And, like, the defense held their own. I mean, there's only so much they could do. But if we're in another spot where, like, Garrett Wilson's playing 12 snaps. And
not ideal.
Yeah, I'm just – there's, like, a lot of angry calls to my father of just what the fuck.
Yeah, I'm in a weird spot. Like, I could get really ugly with the Jets after this game if it doesn't go the right way. Greg has seen my text for the last week. It's been a war zone, and it can get a lot worse.
Yeah. I'm very close to being mentally checked out of the entire season before Zach even comes back. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Like,
so it's getting real dark over here, Gab.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Very, very close. You know,
when does he come back?
I said, well, here's the thing. It's supposed to be week 4.
Yes.
If I see the tweet that Zach Wilson has suffered a setback and won't be ready for week 4, there's going to be a lot of self-evaluation.
Right. I mean, I really want to watch the MILF monster.
Is that what they're calling him these days?
That's what I'm calling him.
This is a pro Zach Wilson podcast. I will not allow that slander.
That was not slander.
How dare you say that?
Zach is not like. Zach doesn't like talking about it, so I don't like.
This is a pro.
He does. He made a caption about it.
Yeah, this is a pro Zach Wilson side of the podcast. That side remains to be seen.
I just have a lot of questions. I think it's fair to have a lot of questions based on what we've seen. That's all.
I mean, I support the man. I support the man. He's making great decisions, clearly.
He's living the dream for sure.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully more on the field.
Right. Let's transfer those skills somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure.
Transfer that.
Okay. This has been great. Gab, any other
I feel like I'm in a more dark place than when we started.
Oh my God. What do you need me to do to lift the spirits?
No. It's not you. I mean, I just like
there's nothing you can do to cure this. It's just bad.
I'm sorry.
It just is how it is.
It's nothing to do with you.
But if you think about it, this is what I always say. When you talk about them or people talk about your team, just know that no one It's not gonna make it anywhere. This is not gonna make it any better.
Go ahead. No, you already started your head.
Just know that no one and nothing anyone says can hurt your feelings more than your own team already has. So whatever anybody says, screw it.
What is that supposed to do for me?
That's what. But like, if I have people like insulting the Browns, like people making fun of the freaking logo, I'm like, nothing you say is gonna hurt my feelings more than my team already has. So F you.
That's fair.
That's true.
You are like us in that you love the team unconditionally no matter what. And it's just like a weird thing where like, it's going to go bad and you still find a way to get yourself excited. And that's why I love sports, you know?
Yeah.
100%.
It also is like a sibling type of thing, right? Where like, we can talk shit about the Jets, but like the minute like
someone
Dan
else
Orlovsky's like,
I'm like,
yeah,
screw
this
you.
team sucks. Yeah, it's like
Dan Orlovsky. What a shot at Orlovsky.
Well, he talks shit.
Everyone just sends the hounds at him.
Yeah.
That's a tough job those guys have because they just go and they make.
I know.
They put up highlights thinking that everyone's gonna love it, but what happens is everybody hates you from the other side. Yeah. It's fun.
Everyone's a film junkie now.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, Gab. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck. We hope to have you back on.
You guys too.
Little wild card round episode, maybe.
Yeah.
That's Browns wild card vibes.
Yeah, we'll get that
just
done.
Let me know. I'll be there.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, for sure. See you guys.